Hello, everyone, and welcome to Evolve Yourself TV. We are here to evolve ourselves. We are here to meditate, and that's always the focus of this channel. Despite all the deviations into chess and philosophy and Grimm's fairy tales and the Tao Te Ching, at the end of the day, we're here to meditate, and we're here to take the breath work we do in this meditation out into the external world such that we can regulate ourselves and compose ourselves even when we're going through very challenging situations. So how's everyone doing out there tonight? I see we have Ignorant. Hey friend, good to see you, man. You're always bursting in with a lot of energy. I hope you're doing well. How's everything going with you today? And JT Farms, hello. My channel shaman is back. My channel shaman. It's so good to have you around. Number one mod, channel shaman. You've been here since the beginning, helping me out. So I always appreciate you. JT and I were actually talking just a little while ago, and she said that she could use a meditation. And I wasn't planning on streaming tonight, but whenever there's someone I care about in my life that could use a little assistance, I try to help when I can, and it got me thinking about it. I was like, yeah, I might as well stream, right? Might as well do this tonight. So I'm grateful for her. She's done a lot for me. This channel wouldn't be where it's at without all of her help. So thank you, JT. I have your fire quartz right here with me. And Sour Stash is here. Hey, friend. Good to see you, Sour Stash. How's everything going with you? How's everything going in your world these days? Things have been pretty low key today. I took my cat, is an indoor cat. I live in a condo, and she spent her whole life as an indoor cat. She's like probably 8 years old right now, Parmenides, and it's just me and her living here, right? And so about a month ago or a month and a half ago, I was leaving for a couple hours, and I was like looking. I looked over at her before I left, and she was just sitting there staring at the side of the couch. I was like, okay, well that's really enjoyable, right? I go out for a few hours. I come back, and she's in the exact same position, and she's still staring at the side of the couch. And I was like, all right, this is pathetic. I can't have this. I can't have this animal. She's literally a descendant of a lion, and she's sitting here, just like her whole existence is just going to stare at a couch. So I decided to get her a cat harness, and the first one I got was a mess, and she was able to get out of it, and I was like chasing her around, and it was a total catastrophe. Luckily, she didn't escape, and I got her this new harness. And so far, she has not been able to get out of it when I tighten it up. And I've been bringing her into we have a private tennis court in my condo association. So I've been bringing her outside into the tennis court, because that gives me an added layer of protection, an extra layer of protection. Because if let's say she does get out of the harness, she can't really get very far, because she's literally in a tennis court, and there's not many escape routes that she can find. So yeah, she's been chilling there. We went out there for the second time today, and she just kind of sat down in the corner and just kind of looking around, and stood up, walked around a little bit, and she was loving it. She was purring. She was having such a good time. So yeah, it was nice to get out there with her, and have her get some fresh air and just experience life. And she was looking at all the birds and the squirrels, and was just kind of going nuts, having so much fun. Let's see. Sour Stash, you say off today. Oh, good day, right? Yeah, nice. You're having a nice day today. I'm glad you're having a good day today, Sour Stash. I'm terrible with where people are. You're out of Florida, right? Was that where you're from? Yeah, but yes, today was an off day for me. I did a little bit of options trading in the morning, but for the most part, I didn't do a ton with that. I went for a 3-mile run, which was good. I did this physical therapy with these new physical therapists that are very holistic in their practice. And I've done, because my lower back's been messed up for quite a few years. I always just kind of tough it out, and I still get all my workouts, and I do everything I'm going to do, but I just, I grimace a lot because of the pain, right? So it's just been pretty annoying. So I found these new physical therapists that my naturopath recommended for me, and I started seeing them, and they were the first physical therapists I've ever met in my life that seemed like they actually know what the fuck they're doing. Every other physical therapist has no kind of conception of reality. These physical therapists are awesome, and I've made considerable progress in my pain relief through utilizing their exercises and the stuff that they do. And a big part of it is that they really individualize the exercises they give me for my particular body. They understand that everyone's body is different, and certain exercises work well with certain people and certain exercises don't. So, like, for instance, they were trying to activate some small muscle in my right outer thigh, and so my physical therapist was like, hey, try this exercise, and I did it. It didn't. She's like, do you feel this muscle being activated? And I was like, no. And then she's like, okay, this is not for you. And then she gave me another exercise. She's like, try this one out. And same thing. I didn't feel anything. She's like, all right, this is not for you. Then she gave me another one. And finally, I did find one that was activating it. And she's like, this is the one that you need to do. And I started doing it, and everything's been better. My posture's been better. I've been in less pain. They really they know what they're doing here, and they're associated with the PRI, the Posture Research Institute, and their philosophy is that basically they want to try to bring people back into better posture, and that posture is the main cause of a lot of our imbalances in our body, because when you have postural imbalance, then other muscles have to compensate, and then that causes imbalances, further imbalances over time. So they try to correct people's posture. Let's see. All right, back to chat. Sorry about that. Sour Sass, you say, yeah, Miami. Okay, cool. LOL, you have lower back issues too. Yeah, lower back. They're so annoying, right? You have to. It's usually you can muscle through it, but it's not fun. I have to, especially in the mornings are worse for me, because when I'm laying still for a long time, I have to. I feel like a 90-year-old man getting out of bed, and then I just get to my yoga mat, and I do yoga and all this stuff to try to loosen it up, and it makes it better. But yeah, it's annoying. Oh, by the way, Sour Sash, I have a cool story for you, because if I recall, you worked at Home Depot out there in Miami, right? I have a good story I'll get to in a minute about a recent experience I had at Home Depot. JT, you say philosopher cat was philosophizing. Yeah, right. I took her. Yeah, she was just sitting. No, I don't really think she was. She was just staring at the couch. It was like the most depressing thing I've ever seen. I mean, can you imagine? Like, you're a descendant of a lion. You have in your blood, lion's DNA. You're out. You want to be hunting in the savannah, right? You don't want to be staring at a couch for 8 hours a day. What kind of life is that, right? No one in my house in my home gets a free ride. Everyone needs to be out doing things and be physically active and be working and be living according to their own nature. I don't want a cat that's just staring at at a wall or at a couch. That's ridiculous. The first time I brought her out, she was so fucking panicked. She was like wigging out. I kind of view it as like, imagine like. I view it as like, she's never done LSD, and now I just gave her like 20 hits of LSD at once. Like that's like you should have seen her eyes. Her eyes were pretty crazy. Like bringing her out into nature, like with all the birds flying around and squirrels everywhere, and like she was like, holy shit, because normally she only sees that stuff from the window or the balcony, and I'm on a third floor. She doesn't get like the close-up view, and now all of a sudden there's like nature all around her. She's like sniffing everywhere. She's like, all of her senses were like heightened. She literally like just basically took like 20 hits of acid. Well, not literally, obviously, but figuratively, she took like 20 hits of acid. It's like the same experience that a human being would have if they did that, right? Especially for their first time, right? Let's see. Sour says, you say, good. You do a lot of weightlifting, yeah, but you find yourself using other muscles at work. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Whenever you're working, you're using other completely different muscles, right? And I kind of fall into this pattern where I get too rigid in my workouts, right? Like whether I'm doing weights or whether I'm doing certain stretches. Like I'll do like the same stuff day in and day out. And then you miss certain muscle groups, and you miss certain, you don't strengthen certain tendons and ligaments, right? Because you're always, I'm always doing the same type of stuff. So I've been trying to vary up my workouts more. But yeah, with doing the doing the exercises that I learned in physical therapy from these awesome physical therapists. It's just been a huge deal, a huge difference. And you say you avoid bending and twisting. Yeah, I know the same. I know the same. Every morning when I like wake up and I have to bend down to feed the cat and empty out her litter box and all that. It's always like, man, this sucks. But then over the course of the day, it all loosens up and things feel better. JT, you say, LOL, sensory. It's totally sensory overload. Like her eyes are she's just like this, like everywhere, like looking. She's like what's going on here? Like there's like birds flying by my face. There's squirrels that are like eating nuts like right by my head. Like what the hell is even going on? There's a lot of like wildlife in the, and even though she's like in the tennis court, like she's checking it all out. She's like constantly like looking around. It's like, it's crazy for her. But yeah, after today was technically the third time I brought her out. Twice in the tennis court, and then one time with the wrong harness, where she actually got off the goddamn harness and like completely wigged out, and I was chasing her all over the courtyard. But yeah, so she, after the second time, after like about 15 or 20 minutes, she calmed down a little bit, and then today she calmed down even more after like 15 or 20 minutes. So I think if I just continuously do this, if I keep bringing her out and letting her experience it, eventually she'll like be able to like walk around out there and like just kind of check things out and smell things and feel the grass and the dirt. Maybe I'll bring her out of the tennis court eventually. That's the goal, at least. Sour Stash, you say she's gonna live long experiencing that. Yeah, right. She's got to experience nature. It's so important. There's a lot of people that just like to just sit inside, all day, every day. What do you do? Well, I woke up. I worked from home. I worked for 8 hours. Staring at my screen, and then I cooked dinner, and then I went to bed. And like, yeah, I didn't leave my house today. It's like. I don't know. I mean, you can do that every now and then, but so there are, and then it's like, oh, I didn't even go to the grocery store because I order my groceries online now, and it's like, well, when's the last time you've left your house, right? I know people that like will go like days without even leaving their house, and it's like, man, it's not healthy. You got to get out. You got to get sunlight. You got to get fresh air. Even for just a little while, if you're not getting, getting outside every now and then, it's going to have a negative effect on your overall well-being, right? But yeah. Oh, so anyway, Sour Stash. So I recently decided I was going to repaint my living room and my hallway, and all that, right? So I went to Home Depot and I bought crepe colored paint. I looked at the swab, and I had white walls out there, so I bought this crepe colored paint. And I thought it would look well with the. I have dark wood out there, and I have like just black speakers, a big black TV, things like that, right? So black and then dark wood. I wanted to try to match it with, and then I bought the which type of paint was it? It was the Premium Plus. The fuck? I'm drawing a blank. Let me look right now at the brand. Oh, it's Bear. Oh no, it wasn't. That was actually no. First I didn't. I bought Bear a different. I bought the lesser grade of Bear first, right? The premium, the whatever the second grade down was. And so I brought it home. And I opened up one of the gallons of paint. After I prepped everything, I taped everything off, washed the walls, did all that stuff. And I put some paint on the wall, and it was way darker. It was like ridiculously dark, like way darker than the little sheet where it shows what the color should be, right? And I was like, what the fuck? These are white walls, like these are like bright white walls. Like why is this paint so goddamn dark? And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. And I let it dry, and I didn't even continue. I just I went to sleep, and I just woke up in the morning. It was like super dark, and I have tons of lighting in the room, like I had the windows wide open. I have big, sliding glass doors, and I was like, this shouldn't be this dark. But I was like, so now I'm stuck with all this paint, and it was expensive. It was like I think it was like $40 a gallon, right? And I had bought 2 gallons of it. So I was kind of salty, right? I was like, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do if you have paint that they've mixed for you? You can't return it, right? So then I was talking with a buddy, and he's like, go in there and just let him know, right? He's like, just let him know that, excuse me, that you had this paint. He's like, sometimes they'll just say it's defective, and they'll return it. They'll send it back to the company. And I was like, that doesn't sound very promising, right? But maybe I'll give it a shot, because $80 is $80, right? So I took the gallons of paint, and only the one was open, and then I made sure I sealed it back up. I had the rubber mallet, sealed it back up. I put it in my car. I had dress clothes on, and I went in. I was going to teach my first day of a chess class, right? So I get in my car. I'm head to toe in dress clothes. I'm driving. I pull up to the parking lot. I pull into the park. As I'm pulling into the parking space, the fucking goddamn lid pops off the gallon of paint, and the whole gallon spills over, and I'm grabbing it, but half the gallon of paint is just now spilled in my car. It's on the upholstery, it's all over the mat, it's all over the side of the car, and I'm wigging out, because I'm in my dress clothes too, and I gotta teach a bunch of 5 and 6 year olds chess, right? So I'm running in there, I'm grabbing wet paper towels, I'm coming out, I'm just trying to get it off the upholstery. I'm like, and it's, by the way, it's hot out. It's 93, 94 degrees at this day, and I'm sweat. My whole body is just sweating head to toe. I got 20 minutes to deal with this problem before I got to teach this chess class. And so I keep running back and forth with wet paper towels, and I'm trying to clean this up, and I got to make sure I don't get it on my dress clothes, and it's just a total mess. And then the last time I go out there, I cut open my pinky finger, and it's all bleeding all over the place. And then I look at the clock, and it's 7:01. My class was supposed to start at 7 o'clock. So I run in there. There's all these parents that are standing in the room, with their kids for the first day of chess. They don't know who the fuck I am. They've never seen me before. I'm drenched head to toe with just sweat, literally dripping everywhere. My hands are covered in crepe colored paint, and my finger is bleeding all over the fucking place. And I'm like, all right, parents, you can leave the room. I'm here to teach your 5-year-olds. Dude, they were looking at me like I was a total psychopath. They were the kids were afraid. They were squeezing their parents' hands. The parents were like, I don't know about this guy. I really don't want to leave the room. I mean, his fingers bleeding all over the place. His hands are covered in paint, and he's just drenched head to toe, and is just dripping everywhere. It was ridiculous. It was so ridiculous. And finally, reluctantly, the parents slowly walked out of the room, and I'm in there. Yeah, right, paint class now, right? And I'm in there, and I close the door, and I start teaching the class, and the kids are all they're these two sisters, one's 5 and one's 6, and they're just sitting there grasping each other's hands, they don't know what the hell's going on. They've never seen anything like this. They don't know what's on my hands. It was a total mess. It was absolute absurd. The incredulous stares that these parents gave me were beyond belief. If you could have seen their faces, it was something. It was something. It was definitely an amazing experience. And then and then throughout the whole class, parents were at the door, looking in the window, making sure I wasn't being some kind of psychopath, right? I mean, I looked like a psychopath, but I actually taught an awesome chess class that day. But it was ridiculous. It was totally ridiculous, so yeah. And anyways, so after that, I went out and I cleaned out my car. Luckily, I was able to get all the paint off the upholstery, and it was crazy too, because I have those floor mats that have a nice they're nice. They have a nice lip that kind of comes up like this, and the paint was literally right to the max of that lip, 1 more millimeter, and it would have all spilled over, so while some did get on the upholstery, some did get on the side, I was able to get that off, and then almost all of it was just contained right there, right on the goddamn lip of the mat. So I was able to put paper towels in there and absorb enough of it so I could actually lift up the mat and then bring it out into the grass and pour it into a bucket. It was a mess. It took me an hour and a half to clean this shit up, right? And then I decided, I was like, okay, I'm going to Home Depot. Let's see if I can return this paint. so like now I was like the psychopath who's like coming into Home Depot trying to return paint, right? Like, and I get in there, and by the way, I tried like washing off the sides of the cans because they were like covered in paint, right? And like the label had gotten all like, you know, messed up, and the paint had gotten over the part you scan and everything, the SKU and everything, like on one of them, and it was so shady looking. It was so bad. And I walk in there, I walk up to customer service. I'm looking at my finger is like still like, you know, bleeding off and on. I'm like, I look like I've just been through World War III. And the lady was just kind of like looking at me. She's like, "Hi, can I help you?" I'm trying to explain to her the story, you know, and she's like, "Okay, you got to go talk to the person in the paint department, and you know they'll let me know like one way or the other." So I go and I'm explaining the story to the situation to the lady in the paint department, and I think she just felt bad for the whole situation and like didn't want to have to deal with it. And she's like, "All right," she's like, "Well, what I can do?" For first, she asked me, she's like, "Well, what color were the walls that you were painting?" I'm like, "They're white. They were bright white walls." And she's like, "Was there a lot of lighting in the room?" And I'm like, "Yeah, there's tons of light pouring in, and the color is way darker." And I showed her the card, you know, with the different colors. I was like, the color was way darker than what it was on the card. And then she eventually was like, "All right, I'll tell you what, I'll send this back to the company as defective paint." And I was like, "Thank you so much." And I was super grateful. She, you know, no way she had